Welcome to this new episode of The Disabled Life. The purpose of this podcast is to tell people how I live my life. The name I'm using on the podcast now is The Disabled Guy, because I felt that you needed to hear something as opposed to just my voice there. I'm a disabled male living in Florida with cerebral palsy. I'm here to tell you how I live my life and some of the volunteer work that I do and how I manage to do it with cerebral palsy. Without further ado, let's go into the episode. I know I missed my Wednesday episode due to broken headphones, but I'm back now. I'm going to talk to you about something that happened to me last week, 2 weeks ago now. Okay. So I went on an STS trip, Miami-Dade paratransit trip, to the doctor's office, and I noticed that when they picked me and my mom up for us to ride there, they did something unusual and kind of illegal actually. What they did is they picked me up, drove around, picked up another person, and then drove me back close to where I live by a park. So then as they did that, I realized, they can't do that, because that is a trip that they picked me up early enough, but they made me drive around in a circle. Basically, that is not right. So I spoke to my mom. To my mom, but I said this trip is wrong. This route is wrong. So as tired as I was, when I got home, I called it in. But before I go into that situation, I'll also talk about another situation with the same driver. So he was using his phone. He was using his phone, putting on earbuds on and off, and I'm like, this is not good. This is not safe. So I didn't tell my mom this, but I filed a complaint because I knew. So what I did after that happened, I went and I called in and I did that. But he also came on the way back, the same driver with the same type of behavior. So it was 3 complaints. But it was 3 coded complaints. What I mean by coded complaints is how what they do so that they know who to send where and where the complaints go, and also priority, because it can be a driver complaint can include a safety issue. And they can include a safety, and that's that's something that we have to deal with as disabled people. We have to deal with that. It's so frustrating that we have to take our time to complain, so that take our time to file complaints. So the resolution to that one was that they took an administrative action. But the funny part was that the same person came on the way back, and they did the same stuff. That's why I said 3 complaints. I don't want to lie. But what can you do? What can you do? You have to go with the flow and file what you need to file. It is so funny that I spoke to one of the girls, and she, one of the workers, and I recognized her voice. I give her my number and my ID number, and she says, "Hi." And he says my name. And I say, "Hi, who am I talking to?" And she gives me her name. But and we talk. We banter a little bit back and forth there. 'Cause it's funny that we become friends. We become acquaintances on the phone because of the complaints of all the problems that I've had with Miami-Dade paratransit. It is crazy. And also, I'm going to talk about the amount of money that it costs to go. It costs $3.50 a trip. That will add up to $7. Something good can be done. For example, if I want to go to the airport, and my mom and dad need to go with us, so we don't have to drive a vehicle, I can put one person as a PCA or care attendant upon my request, and add an extra person if I want to, and I can add one extra person, so and it can be a total of 3 individuals in that vehicle. 2 pay and 1 does not. That's interesting that they allow that, but luckily they do. So I missed last week because last week I just received my headphones today from a company called Sweetwater. Shout out to Nick Reedy. That's the person that sold it. Shout out to him for his help in purchasing these headphones. Shout out, man. These headphones are so much. These headphones are okay. I love these because I've only used them once, but now I already love them because there's a noise cancellation feature. I don't know if you know what that means. There's no bleed into them. So even if, for example, I would turn my volume up in my headphones, there will be no cancel. There will be no feedback. So these Behringers are beautiful, and they're very comfortable. I haven't used them for too long. I just came home from the store. I have a little bit of headache, but I came in and sat down at the desk here. I came in and sat down here so I could test these things out, and I got inspired to talk about the trip there. Also, coming up next week is my 2-year anniversary of the podcast. At that point, there's gonna be a special episode. I'm not gonna give too many surprises, but shout outs are gonna happen there. And I'm gonna talk about why. For those of you that didn't start from the beginning, I'm gonna talk and tell you why I started it and how I started it, and what equipment I was using also. So with this episode became a little bit longer than I expected because I wanted to make some explanations on why I was not here Wednesday. I apologize for you guys. I apologize that I was not here Wednesday, and I almost didn't make it out here tonight because I had just gotten home from grocery shopping with my mom. But here I am. I made it for you guys. It's commitment, and I have a bit of a headache, but here I am. It's something that I need to do, something I wanted to do because I knew I missed last week. I knew I missed one last week, and I missed one, and I know this is a volunteer. I know this is a hobby thing for me, but also I know that people follow and expect episodes, and I think it's a respect thing to give you the episodes that I promise you. With that, thank you for listening. In closing, let me say thank you for listening to this episode of The Disabled Life. You can follow me on the following platforms. You can follow me at Good Pods. You can leave comments, messages there. You can also follow me on Twitter at the Disabled Guy. And you can also listen to me on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, and many others. Once again, thank you for listening, and I'll also give you my email. My email is Kilo Echo 4 Kilo Echo Yankee, or KE4KEY@gmail.com. Once again, thank you, and thank you for your support, and I'll see you next week. In following to that, I did not know at this point, at the time that I did this outro, that I had also people could leave comments, messages on Spotify, and I could receive them. So if you feel so inclined, do that. And also, if you want